All right, let's talk to Stephanie listening in Nevada. Don't you dare commit suicide. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. It's been a while since I've called, but I've been meditating for quite a while, and I've been really following a lot of what he has to say, and it's definitely changed my life for the better. I have last night I made a discovery. I've been having some trouble sleeping. I couldn't figure out why. I know that he told someone else that their insomnia was due to anger about something.
Yes.
And I couldn't figure out what I was angry about. And I do get angry about, I get fired up about politics and all that stuff, but I haven't really been doing that lately. And so last night I went to sleep. I couldn't sleep, and I realized that I'm angry at God, and I feel shortchanged, which is just ridiculous. And I know that. I work with stroke patients, and so it just makes me feel silly that I even feel that way.
Okay, but it's legitimate. No, it's very important that you see this. Now, there's a doorway that I'm going to walk you through.
Okay.
So we're going to go from one room in your place of thinking. I want you to think of these compartments. The room that you have been in, you've been in that room with an energy, and that energy is a hatred of God. Mm-hmm. But the energy is not you. Mm-hmm. So this is what I want you to start to think about. Mm-hmm. This anger toward God is not original to any human being. It is an ancient anger. And what it does is it insinuates itself into your life through judgment, through people that have been cruel to you. It tries to make you feel like you're a victim of some sort, that you've missed out on life because other people are having fun and having it all and you aren't. But that is not you. You are the subject of its manipulation. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? You're in a room with something that's dark and angry, but it is not you. Something is in there with you. I suspect that you all have something in your room with you that you would rather not have. But what you do is you make the mistake of identifying with it. Whatever it is. If it's anger, you identify with it. If it's fear, you identify with it. If it's greed or lust or anxiety. But I'm telling you, it's not you. So if you have a condition that you want to overcome, understand that you can transition from being in a place with a dark energy, and you can move from that place into a place where the light is, and that energy cannot come with you. So now I have Stephanie in Nevada. And we're talking about this because you have discovered now that you have this anger, right?
Right.
But now I'm going to say this to you again. Have you thought about what I said about being in this space with this dark energy, but it's not you?
Yeah, I have. Mm-hmm.
Let me explain this to you. You don't have anger. Anger has you. Have you ever heard the expression, I was gripped by fear? Mm-hmm. Do you ever feel that you're gripped by anger?
Oh, yeah.
Like it just comes over you and it just,
yeah.
Right? Somebody says something on TV and, oh, you stupid,
mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it like that. I've gotten better at letting the little resentments in daily life, like traffic and things like that, go.
Right.
But this deeper one that's just kind of always there and prevents me from sleeping really well, I finally realized last night that I know what it is. I'm mad at God for what's happened in my life.
Okay, but
in my life,
what's happened in your life? How terrible could it be?
Well, it's not terrible relative to a lot of other people, but I feel like and I'm just going to say it as irrational as it sounds, and I'm rational enough to know that I know how it sounds, but when I'm really at my weakest, I feel like I am being punished. And I don't know why.
But you see, Stephanie, now we're going to walk you through the doorway into the light. Because you have to understand this, and this will change your whole life. Anybody that's listening, understand this. Your life will change. And this is what I want you to understand. It is not you that's being punished. It is it in you. Because you cannot go through your life with it living your life through you. Living its life through you. Everybody has an id entity. Everyone. You are fortunate because you are aware that something is wrong. But you keep saying I. And that's a mistake everyone makes. It is not you. But it's something that happened to you. It's something that happened to you that affected you as a child.
That's what I'm mad about, though. And I'm mad that...
No.
No,
you're not mad. No, it is mad. It is a baby throwing a tantrum inside of an adult. you're an adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
And inside of you, there's this baby crying, wah, wah, I'm unhappy. And it wants you to feel what it feels. Do you know the word sympathy? It means to feel the same. So when you have sympathy for someone, you feel what they feel. And I'm telling you that you have a sympathetic relationship with this victim identity. That's not you. It sure sounds like you. It has your voice. It feels like you, but it is not you.
Well, because I have that sympathetic relationship with it, it's still there. And
I gotcha.
Almost 40 years old, and I've not...
But that doesn't matter. That's what I call outcome-based thinking. You've obviously gone through some schooling. You're a medical professional.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to accomplish that, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you have accomplishments under your belt.
Yeah, but not the emotional kind.
I know. I understand that. Let me ask you this. What drove you to want to be a nurse or whatever particular thing you do? Why did you choose that profession?
I chose speech pathology because I like the brain, and I think it's fascinating, and I think that it's a fascinating field to help people overcome limitations.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And the reason you chose that was because you wanted to overcome your own limitations, true?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what do you perceive to be your limitations?
Oh, there's so many.
Just start with the biggest one.
I just have a lot of emotional pain that prevents me from really connecting with people.
But see, again, you're identifying it. You have emotional pain. But what if you changed it to this? Emotional pain has you.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a noose around your neck. Is that noose you? No.
No, but because it's there, though.
Okay. You don't really have the problems that you think you do. And that is the secret. That's the big secret. It's really what makes the whole world go around, is that if you realized that the problems are because of what you think, they are the direct result of the fact that you think. I think, therefore I am. So if you think you have problems, therefore you have problems. And you think you have problems. Everyone thinks they have problems. But if you were to step back and be objective, and you would see how much freedom you actually have, and be able to contrast the subconscious self from a objective perspective, to contrast what choices you have as opposed to what choices you don't have, you would see that you have infinitely more choices to do anything. You have more choices than you would imagine. And that it is the idea that you have a problem that you struggle with, and you feed yourself to it. And I've used the example of quicksand. Stephanie, you've got to understand this, because the secret to this whole thing is not the brain. It is the soul. And the soul is in a room. It's in a compartment of your being. And what happens is that there are forces constantly trying to shape you. And it's the outside world. It's the world that we live in. It's the environment that we've grown up in. So, for example, if you take a look at any person coming from any culture, they grow up and they become a direct reflection of the culture that they grew up in, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why we have Indian people and Chinese people and Germans and Swiss and Americans. We all have these cultural identities. And so what you have to understand is that part of it is the brain, because the brain is the part that receives the information. And it's the part that does the deciphering of the information. But then you have the emotional, the complex emotional self, and that is where the play of light and shadow takes place. This is where the forces of good and evil are at war. It's not the brain. The brain is the meat.
Yeah.
It's the self within the self, the soul, that's in the compartment of your being that is constantly being pulled at. And that's why you haven't been able to sleep.